Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. Defining discipline is a lifestyle, a mentality, and a brand. And within this podcast, we're going to focus on self-improvement as you follow along with me on my journey. We're also going to hear from special guests of all walks of life on this podcast and their remarkable journeys that led them to where they are today. Today is day 77 of my journey. At the beginning of the year, I challenged myself to run 365 days out of the year this year. All outside, bearing the weather, whatever it may be. Today, it was a little gloomy, cold, and chilly, as well as windy. I only put 1.5 in today. Just really wasn't feeling it. Legs felt a little heavy. And so far this month, we were blessed with lots of sunny days, and today just wasn't. It was gloomy, kind of had me down. I wasn't necessarily depressed, but just wasn't feeling it. Was tired, didn't get much sleep. It was making up all the excuses of not to put in a decent run in today. I still kept my my speed up, my pace up, but just wanted to get 1.5 in today, and that put me at 318.6 for the year after today's run. So I'm 931.3 away from my yearly goal of 1250 this year. This is my second year ever running. My first year, 2020, got into it late 2019 in October, and really started ritually running. And 2020 was my first official year running throughout the whole entire year. I was able to pump out 1,000 miles my first year. Just hit it. I think I was 1,001, maybe went over by one or something like that. Just to do it in spite of going for 1,000. But I was able to do the 1,000. So this year I really wanted to step it up by adding 25% more miles. And I don't have it offhand, the official amount of days I ran, but I think it was like 176 or 78 last year in 2020. So this year doing it 365 days out of the year, that is like 100% step up, doubling what I did last year. So that will be fun and interesting. We'll see where we're gonna get with that. But we're 77 days in so far. I'm feeling really good. Like I said, today I was a little sluggish, a little down, but that had to do with weather and other circumstances outside of running. Just kind of tired, no sleep, trying to get ready for my first child, my daughter. My wife is about to pop any day now, so kind of stressed out about that, trying to get things together. Today, actually finally got some instructions to get ready to put the crib together from IKEA. This is our second crib. Our first crib we got. Put it all together, and after I got it together, the wife looked at it and she's like, hey, it looks like it's tinted yellow. It's supposed to be white. I don't like it. It's too big. So we broke that thing down, returned it, got our money back, found a new crib at IKEA. The in-laws brought it home for us yesterday. I went to put it together last night, and it didn't come with instructions. So I had to look up instructions online, and the instructions online were for the same name model, but a different color, which is a little bit different. And I was missing pieces because it's a little bit different, even though it's the same model. It was the wrong directions. So then we went to take everything back to the store today, had him open a new box. It was the same thing in that box. Then we just had him print us off the right directions, and I realized that I was an idiot. So it's just been a long day, guys. But we're here recording this episode, giving you guys the update of what's going on. I'm tired. And like I said, today was just one of those days, But that being said, I did put 1.5 in for the day, like I said, and I'm still trying to hit 33 miles per week. I am currently at 13.2 miles for this week, so I have 19.8 to go, and I'm trying to break that up within 3 days, and I'm trying to really break up that into 2 days, because the third day I'm really going to do on Sunday. I plan on doing a half marathon and trying to get the half marathon for March finally in. I was supposed to do it last Sunday, didn't do it, just did 10 this Sunday. I really want to pump out that half marathon this month. So I'm really going to, knock off 13.1 from this. And that leaves me, at 6.7. So, I'm going to pump out 6.7 in 2 days. That's where that's looking in order to finish off the week. And that for the month will probably end me right around 100 miles for the month. But currently, right now, I'm sitting at 78.9. And that being said, every month I have challenged myself to the 100-mile challenge, knowing I would have to do that in order to hit my yearly goal of 1250. I would have to average just over 100 miles. So I thought I would do a 100-mile challenge every month in honor of a different charity and fundraiser and try to raise some money for a good cause. In January, we were able to raise money for the American Cancer Society. In February, we were able to raise money for the Detroit Black Community Food Security Network. Now in March, we've raised a little bit of money so far for Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, and that is still going on, and it will be going on until April 7th. And so far, like I said, we've raised a little bit of money, but all donations go directly to this fundraiser. So if you guys want to donate, you can find the donation links on the Defining Discipline Instagram and Facebook stories, as well as my personal Facebook and Instagram stories. So you can find the link on either of my stories, the Instagram or Facebook of either the Defining Discipline or my personal page. Like I said, all donations go directly to this. No cut goes to Facebook. It's really cool that they're willing to not take any cut and let all the donations go directly to the cause. I know times are tough, but realize, even the littlest that you can donate goes a long way. If you can only donate $5, don't feel ashamed that you're only donating $5. It goes a long way. It will help out. But I understand if times are still tough right now and you just can't afford it. I get it. But if you can't afford it, at least please hit that share button so other people within your timeline may see it. Maybe they'll be able to donate. Maybe they'll be able to ask around, or maybe they'll be able to share it in someone else in their timeline. Let's just keep getting this thing spread out. Maybe people will be able to donate and we can raise some money for these different charities throughout the year. Other than that, guys, though, I don't want to keep you too much longer. Let's just kind of get into today's episode. Episode 77, day 77. 7 has always been a lucky number for me. This is double sevens. Number 13, episode 13 was about, the theme was luck. This isn't going to be luck, but it's going to touch on something that's kind of just like luck. And it's going to kind of ring just like the episode 13. I can't think right now, guys. I'm sorry. I'm zoning out, playing with stuff with my hands, not even focusing on what the hell I'm talking about. So yeah, it's going to reflect, this episode will kind of reflect with what episode 13 kind of talked about, but we're going to go in a little bit more depth and touch on a couple different aspects of it. So first things first, let's tell you what it is. Episode 77, the theme for today is fortune. Okay, fortune. Let's get the quick definition. Chance or luck as an external arbitrary force affecting human affairs. Okay, that is a fortune. Or here's another thing that is really cool about this word today. It is a homonym. It has different meanings. So that was the first definition. The second definition is it is a large amount of money or assets. And it kind of even has a third meaning if you really think about it. And that third meaning is kind of like a prediction or future, because you can tell someone their fortune, you can get your fortune read. And that's kind of like a prediction or future kind of mystic event thing. So other than that, though, let's kind of just break it down real quick. The thing I want to talk about with fortune is there's a phrase. And for the longest time, I didn't necessarily, one, I never really analyzed it to think what it even meant. But then kind of thinking of it, it really didn't really reflect on me. But when looking back on certain things, um, I can see the meaning and how it reflects and how it turns out. And so let's talk about that phrase first. So the phrase is fortune favors the braves. And kind of what that really means is that, a successful person is often the one who's willing to take the risks. So in order to even become successful, you must take the risk of whatever those risks may be to get there. So an example of that I kind of want to talk about when I really think back in my life, because I feel like I am a very fortunate person, and there has been very fortunate things that have happened to me. Some of them I think were out of my control, and it's just because I am a fortunate person, and it is chance or luck as an external or arbitrary force, as the definition implies. But there's other things, though, where I think it attributed to the fact that I was brave enough to put myself out there in that situation long enough for good things to happen to me. An example of that, I think I may have even mentioned it before. I'm not even sure if it was in episode 13 or not. But you may or may not know, I did play music for a very long time in my life and was in a lot of bands and was able to play lots of shows. Nothing too crazy, nothing too far, but some decent venues around the area, and play with some decent touring bands that at least I respected. So, and sometimes I really felt out of place and like I didn't deserve it. And I felt very fortunate just to be there, and felt lucky just to be there at times. But then the more I look back on it, I realize that yes, I was fortunate to be there, because like I said, I was out of my element in a lot of those situations. But the reason why I was even fortunate enough to be there was because I put myself out there to begin with, playing and all the other shows that I played, day in and day out, and showing up to these venues and putting in all the hard work and extra work to get to know the door guys and the venue owners who started to like me and put me out. It wasn't just the fact that, I was lucky and it just happened. No, but it was the fact that I went out there and I grinded, and that was something that I wanted to do. So I put myself out there, and I was brave enough to continue and go and go, and to risk and risk and risk. And, clearly it didn't pay off where I'm super successful and that's what I'm doing with my life. I get that. But it did pay off for the fact that at that time I was successful, and it was from the fact of me putting in all that work. And circumstances happened where now I'm at where I'm at. But there's other times in my life where I've also been very fortunate, and I realized looking back on it, on those times, it was a lot of me being brave enough to put myself and risk those situations, risk whatever it was in those situations. So I do believe that there are fortunate people that it's just by chance, and it's strictly just they are lucky. But I also do believe that luck favors hard work, and luck favors resilience, and luck favors repetition. So, and luck favors courage, luck favors bravery. So I think that if you want to be fortunate and you want to have things work out where people look at you as you are fortunate, maybe you don't want that, because that's not always a good thing, that maybe they don't see again the hard work and all the other aspects you've had to put in order to get to that fortunate state. But on the other hand, let's kind of talk about that fortunate state in the aspect of, like we said, wealth. And I want to talk about I think we've also mentioned it before on prior episodes about fortune and how, you know, not everyone who has a fortune is fortunate. They possibly have lots of problems and bigger problems psychologically, than most of the petty problems that us middle class and poor class people have every single day. Yes, we deal with a lot of BS, but I, if you actually, at least when I sit back and actually try to imagine the amount of stress levels, and different things happening, if I was in their shoes, if I had a fortune and I was rich and I had lots of money and I was wealthy and I wanted to keep it, and I have all these people, different people telling me I need to do this and I need to do this, pay me and I'll help you keep it, pay me and I'll help you keep it. And then you got, you probably got a whole bunch of whatever it is, whatever your liking is, if whatever your sexual orientation is, you probably got other people throwing themselves at you, trying to get with you for your money, and there's just multitudes of different problems, I think, that arise when you start to have and build a fortune. And I get that not everyone has to go through those, and some people are a good navigators in those situations. But I think one thing that has always scared and worried me, it's not to necessarily work towards and gain and make a fortune, but to kind of fall onto a fortune. That is something that's always scared me. I know a lot of people always wish to win the lottery and to just basically fall into lots of money so they don't have to work. And that's kind of the exact opposite of what I would want. And that's what actually scares me. I wouldn't mind building a fortune and working hard for it and finding a meaning inside of working for that fortune. But the idea of just making money and not understanding how or why I earned it, while it seems very tempting, it seems like there's too many problems attached that way, and to me it just doesn't seem like it will ever work out. Maybe it does work out for the good for some people, but I just think the percentage wise, it's not a good statistic that it's going to work out. Either way, though, I think to be fortunate, to be fortunate is worth more than a fortune. That's a quote for you right there. I think I'd rather be fortunate than have a fortune. Now, on the last, just to touch on it, the last meaning of the word, let's talk about predictions and just telling someone's fortune, and the idea of reading someone's palm or being able to predict something that you may not be able to predict. And it seems outlandish. It seems crazy. And, most of it maybe is just crazy. But like we have talked about on a previous episode 62, it may be crazy, but what if it's placebo? What if it's so crazy, but if you believe it so much that it's crazy enough to work? So when it comes to fortunes, as in that fortune, to predict the future or to I guess just predict, really, it could be a placebo thing where if you are seeing someone or you are someone who seems to be predicting your own future well enough, maybe it is because you are manifesting it by thinking about it, or that someone else is manifesting your own future for you by telling you what's going to happen and you believing them so much that you are manifesting it into life. That's just a theory of mine when it comes to fortune telling. I know nothing about it, not trying to knock it, not trying to say it's real, not trying to say it's not real. It's just, I think the placebo effect is very strong, and I think it can work in beautiful ways for anything, even for fortune telling and for predicting. Other than that, though, guys, I don't want to keep you too much longer. I just kind of wanted to break down the idea of being fortunate and fortune, both as being fortunate and lucky, as well as being fortunate with a fortune of money, with wealth. So that being said, though, episode 77, I'm going to give you your daily discipline, and it is to do both. It is to think, first off, honestly think and put yourself in the shoes of someone with lots of money, and not the easy part. Don't put yourself in the part where you're taking it and you're going out buying all the things you want and you're enjoying it. But put yourself in the opposite part where you've already bought everything and now the bills are coming in and you've already spent all your money, or you got your brother or your brother-in-law or whoever it is in your family knowing that you won and they're just begging you for half the cash. Hey, let me borrow money. Or you got all these other people hitting you up. There's multitudes of problems that come, especially I think with a fortune, that an overnight fortune, I guess we can call it, something that just happens quickly, that maybe necessarily, I'm not going to say you deserved or not deserved, but something that was unexpected. When a fortune like that hits, I think really put yourself in a situation like that, or even put yourself in a situation where you've worked your butt off for a fortune. Like, put yourself in that situation and how much stress comes with you own this corporation, and yes, you are a billionaire, but you also have to pay out all these people and make sure that all these people get paid and the people under them get paid and the people under them get paid. And yes, while you don't want to screw the people that are on the very bottom, you still need your top people to work the hardest because they're the ones that keeping your business afloat, so you need to pay them more. Just think about all the different stresses that you may not really realize that comes with when you have that wealth and you have that fortune. Like I said, either one, the one where you've earned it or the one where you've just aimlessly came across it and it just popped in your lap because of the lottery or something. Either way, I think those, again, it's not that I wouldn't want them. It's just something that I like to do. I like to put myself in those situations because I think it's so easy to lose control and lose yourself in either of those situations when you come across a fortune like that. And again, that was just one part of your daily discipline today. Your other part is, again, to just count your fortunes and maybe look back on your life where you were fortunate enough for something to happen and think about maybe how you got there. Maybe it wasn't just fortunate. Maybe there was a string of events that you've done that put you in that situation. And then maybe if you can really start doing this and start tying these different situations together where you became fortunate at the end and things worked out in your favor, maybe you can realize the chain effect, and then you can maybe also apply it to your daily life today and figure out how you can chain effect certain things now in your life, so maybe tomorrow or the next day something fortunate, not necessarily tomorrow, but you get what I'm saying, sometime in the near future, next couple years, next couple months, whatever it may be, start applying things that'll chain effect and make you fortunate for your future. So I think these are two really good things you guys can do today to really examine the idea of fortune. So, yet again, think about fortune as money. Think about fortune as what you could be doing. continuously, what you could be risking, what you can be brave to do over and over and over to become fortunate at something. Other than that, though, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode 77 of the Defining Discipline podcast. If you guys can, please give it a like, a share, a subscribe, a follow, and whatever else you do on all these different streaming podcast platforms, and on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on whatever you can find us on. Just look for us, Defining Discipline. I'm your host, Scott. Thank you so much for listening. This is episode 77. Make sure you get your daily discipline done today and you stay disciplined. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow for episode 77. I'm going to see you tomorrow for Groundhog Day, I guess. No, sorry, guys. I'm going to see you tomorrow for episode 78. So stay disciplined and peace out.